The submarine was sinking. The bow was crushed, water flooding in. The commander was bleeding out on the bridge. His crew was below, waiting for orders. He had seconds to decide. Save himself, or save his men. Commander Howard Gilmore gave 3 words. 3 words that became legend. Take her down. September 29, 1902, Selma, Alabama. Howard Walter Gilmore was born into a military family. His father had served. His grandfather had served. Howard knew from a young age where his path led. The Navy. On November 15, 1920, at age 18, Howard Gilmore enlisted in the United States Navy. 2 years later, in 1922, he received an appointment to the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis. He graduated in 1926, standing 34th in a class of 436. Not the top, but solid, dependable. Among his classmates were men who would become legends. Wade McCluskey, Lofton Henderson, Max Leslie. Names that would define the Pacific War. After graduation, Gilmore reported to the battleship USS Mississippi. Big guns, big ship, surface warfare. But Gilmore wanted something different. In 1930, he volunteered for submarine training. The silent service, the most dangerous duty in the Navy. Cramped steel tubes, diesel fumes, depth charges. Men who went down in subs didn't always come back up. But Gilmore loved it. For the next 11 years, Gilmore served on various submarines. He learned the trade, navigation, tactics, leadership. In 1936, he took command of USS 20, his first submarine command. But Gilmore's life wasn't without tragedy. While serving as executive officer of USS Shark in Panama, he was attacked by a gang of thugs during shore leave. They slit his throat and left him for dead. Gilmore survived, barely. He lost his first wife to disease. His second wife, Hilda, fell into a coma after a terrible accident. When war came in December 1941, Hilda was still unconscious in a hospital bed. Gilmore didn't know if she'd ever wake up. But duty called, and Gilmore answered. December 8th, 1941. One day after Pearl Harbor, Gilmore received new orders. He was transferred from USS Shark to take command of a brand new submarine still under construction. USS Growler, SS to 215. A Gaiety O-class submarine, 311 feet long. 10 torpedo tubes, diesel-electric engines. She was fast. She was deadly. And she was Gilmore's. By March 1942, construction was complete. USS Growler was commissioned and ready for war. She'd operate out of Pearl Harbor. Her first war patrol came in late June 1942. Destination, the Aleutian Islands. The Japanese had invaded Kiska and Attu, trying to establish a foothold on American soil. Growler's mission was to hunt Japanese shipping and cut off their supply lines. On the morning of July 5, 1942, Growler spotted 3 Japanese destroyers off Kiska. Destroyers, not cargo ships, warships. Fast, armed, dangerous. Most submarine commanders would have avoided them. Gilmore attacked. He closed the distance, lined up his shot, and fired 2 torpedoes at the destroyer Kasumi. Both hit. Kasumi was crippled, 10 sailors killed. Gilmore turned toward the second destroyer, Shiranui. 2 more torpedoes, direct hit. Shiranui's bow was blown clean off. 3 sailors dead. The destroyer had to be towed to Japan for repairs. Then Gilmore turned to the third destroyer, Arari. 2 more torpedoes. Arari went to the bottom. In one engagement, Gilmore had sunk 1 destroyer, crippled another, and damaged a third. For this action, he was awarded the Navy Cross. But Gilmore wasn't done. On Growler's second war patrol in August 1942, Gilmore took his submarine to the East China Sea near Taiwan. Over the next several weeks, he sank 4 merchant ships, totaling 10 tons. The Navy awarded him a Gold Star in lieu of a second Navy Cross. Gilmore was becoming one of the most successful submarine commanders in the Pacific. His third patrol was quiet, uneventful. Growler returned to Brisbane, Australia, and spent the rest of 1942 in port for maintenance. On New Year's Day, 1943, Growler departed Brisbane for her 4th war patrol. Destination: Rabaul, the Solomon Islands, Japanese-controlled waters. This would be Gilmore's final patrol. The patrol started strong. On January 16th, Growler sank a transport ship. 3 days later, she sank another. On January 30th, Growler damaged a freighter, but was driven down by heavy gunfire and depth charges. The Japanese were on high alert. Guadalcanal was being evacuated. Enemy ships were everywhere. Escorts, destroyers, patrol boats. It was a hornet's nest. On February 4th, 1943, Gilmore spotted 2 freighters, escorted by 2 patrol craft heading toward Gazelle Channel. He maneuvered Growler into position for an ambush. But the lead Japanese ship spotted the submarine and opened fire at 5,000 yards. Gilmore ordered an emergency dive. For the next hour, depth charges hammered the submarine. Boom, boom, boom. The crew sat in silence, listening to the explosions, praying the hull would hold. Growler survived, but the area was too hot. Gilmore decided to wait for nightfall and hunt under the cover of darkness. February 7th, 1943. Just after midnight, Growler was on the surface, charging her batteries. Gilmore was on the bridge with his watch team. Assistant Officer of the Deck Ensign W. Williams. Lookout Fireman W.F. Kelly. 2 other crewmen. The night was dark, overcast, no moon. Visibility was terrible. Suddenly, a ship appeared out of the darkness. Close, too close. The Hayasaki, a 900-ton Japanese patrol gunboat. She'd spotted Growler on the surface and was turning to ram. Gilmore had seconds to react. He sounded the collision alarm. Left full rudder, he shouted. But it was too late to avoid the crash. Gilmore made a split-second decision. If they were going to collide, Growler would do the ramming. The submarine hit the Hayasaki amidships at 17 knots. The impact was catastrophic. Growler's bow crushed inward. 18 feet of steel bent 50 degrees to port. Forward torpedo tubes destroyed. Water flooding in. The submarine listed violently. But the Hayasaki was mortally wounded. Her plates burst open. She was sinking. And as she went down, her crew opened fire. Heavy machine guns raked Growler's bridge. Tracer rounds screamed through the darkness. Bullets tore into flesh and steel. Ensign Williams was killed instantly. Fireman Kelly went down next. The other 2 crewmen were hit, severely wounded. One had his leg nearly blown off. The other lost his arm below the elbow. And Howard Gilmore was hit. Multiple rounds tore through his chest and abdomen. He staggered, grabbed the bridge rail to keep from collapsing. Blood poured from his wounds. Below deck, Lieutenant Commander Arnold Shade, the executive officer, was waiting for orders. He could hear the machine gun fire above. He knew men were dying. And then Gilmore's voice came through the voice tube. Calm, steady, professional. Clear the bridge. The 2 wounded men scrambled below. They barely made it through the hatch. But Gilmore didn't follow. He was too badly wounded, too weak. If he tried to climb down, he'd slow the dive. The submarine needed to get underwater, now, or the machine gun fire would kill everyone on board. Gilmore made his choice. He gave his final order. Take her down. 3 words. Shade heard them through the voice tube. He froze. His mind reeled. Gilmore was ordering him to dive. With the captain still on the bridge. It was a death sentence for Gilmore. but it would save the boat. Shade gave the order. Dive, dive, dive. The klaxon sounded. The hatch slammed shut. Ballast tanks flooded. The submarine began to sink. Howard Gilmore stood alone on the bridge. Machine gun fire still raking the darkness around him as the water rose over the deck. Howard Gilmore disappeared into the Pacific. He was 40 years old. Growler submerged. But the nightmare wasn't over. Bullet holes in the conning tower were letting water in. Electrical system shorted out. A fire started. The submarine was flooding, losing power. Shade and the crew fought desperately to save the boat. For 20 minutes, they stayed submerged. Pumping water, fighting fires, patching holes. Then Shade ordered a battle surface. Growler shot to the surface, guns manned and ready. But the Hayasaki was gone, sunk. The ocean was empty. Shade ordered the crew to search for Gilmore. They scanned the water for hours. Nothing. Howard Gilmore was gone. With the bow crushed and flooding barely under control, Shade made the agonizing decision to head for Brisbane. The 1,500-mile journey took 10 days. Growler limped into port on February 17, 1943. When Australian engineers saw the damage, they couldn't believe it. 18 feet of bow bent at a 90-degree angle. Torpedo tubes destroyed. Hull compromised. This submarine should have sunk. But Shade and his crew had brought her home. Inspired by the sacrifice of their captain, for 3 months, the Navy kept Gilmore's story classified. On May 7, 1943, the story finally went public. Front-page news across America. The submarine commander who sacrificed himself to save his men. Admiral Ernest J. King, Chief of Naval Operations, immediately approved the Medal of Honor. On July 13, 1943, in New Orleans, Rear Admiral Andrew C. Bennett presented the medal. To Hilda Gilmore, Howard's widow, she had finally woken from her coma. But her husband was gone. Standing beside her were their 2 children, Howard Jr. and Vernon Jean. Hilda placed the Medal of Honor around her son's neck, so he would always remember his father. Howard Gilmore became the first submariner to receive the Medal of Honor in World War II. 6 more would follow by war's end. In September 1943, a new submarine tender was launched. USS Howard W. Gilmore. Hilda christened the ship herself. Growler, meanwhile, was repaired in Brisbane. Australian workers fabricated a brand new bow. As a final touch, they welded nickel-plated kangaroos. to each side of the nose. In May 1943, Growler returned to war. She completed 7 more patrols, sank more ships, saved more lives. But on her 11th patrol in November 1944, Growler vanished in the South China Sea off Mindoro. She never returned. 86 men went down with her. Growler was placed on eternal patrol. But Howard Gilmore's legacy lived on. Take her down. 3 words that became legend in the submarine service. 3 words that define sacrifice. 3 words that every submariner knows. Howard Gilmore had seconds to decide. Save himself or save his men. He chose his men. That's what a leader does. That's what a hero does. Howard Gilmore gave everything so his crew could live. And they never forgot him. If you want to hear more stories of American heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice, hit subscribe. These men deserve to be remembered.